Hello beautiful people, welcome to my channel. My name is Teresa and I am your cruise director on the magical mystery tour that is this channel. Today we have the new Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Instant Look in a palette. We have the light and the dark and we're going to create a look with each of them. Before we get to that, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell to be alerted to any new uploads, and if you like this video at the end, please give it a big thumbs up. Let's get to it. So I ordered these directly from her site when they launched. They have already launched in Australia as well. So if you have been wondering which one to get, let's see. Full disclosure, I have used one today at work. Quick look was a reel over on Instagram. So we have had to read the back of them. So we have the Pretty Glowing Beauty palette, which is the lighter one, and the Dreamy Bronze palette, which is the darker one. Both of these didn't look particularly dark. This is meant to give you a 5-minute on the go look, and it really, really does. The beauty about these palettes is that you don't need to think about what to do with them. These are ones that Charlotte bought out for quite some time. I think I've got the last one, which was the Instant Look of Love palette here. You can see the divots in there. So this had a bronzer, face powder, highlighter, blush, and 3 shadows. She's been beaten up because these are so great to travel. These ones, how pretty. Let's get the light on that. These look expensive, as opposed to her other new 9 pans that came out in the plastic. So the first one that we have is the lighter one. So it comes with 3 eye shades. So you have got your Smoke, your Enhance, and your Sparkle. Then we have a face powder. This is a slightly pink face powder. We have a bronze, which is a new formula. Look, it just feels like every other bronzer. It does feel creamier though than her big, never ever going to get through bronzer. Then we have 2 cheek options here. So we have a matte blush and a glowy blush that essentially you can use as a highlighter if you have pale skin. So this is her Sparkle formula. I'm not going to do swatches, and the reason I'm not going to do swatches is that they reflect off my skin. Swatches don't go particularly well when you are this pasty white. This is the other palette, the bronzer palette for deeper skin tones. This one has 2 of the Sparkle shades in there. So the Enhance and the Pop are both sparkles, and then only 1 matte. Not too worried about that because quite often I dip into bronzers for using that sort of transition-y shade. In any case, again, this sort of new shade in the face powder, this is more a peach as opposed to the pink of the other one. And we have the matte and the glowy cheek. Obviously, if you are of a darker complexion, again, it may work as a highlighter. That is not going to work as a highlighter on me. As I mentioned, these are the sort of things that you don't really have to think about. Now, what I have done initially is I haven't set my face yet. I have got concealer under my eye, and I have got foundation on. Neither is set down. Going in firstly on this side with the lighter palette. So what I am going to do is, this is meant to be brightening. So I'm going to go in with a puff, just work it onto the back of my hand and set under the eye area. The areas that I would normally set with a puff is exactly what I'm going to do here in this instance. And then what I like to do is go into a brush to go all over then. Up through this tape. You can see it is blurring immediately. Now, what I will say, I'm just going to go all over with this and just pat it while I'm talking to you. What I will say about Charlotte's powders, you either love them or you meh. This is not a traditional setting powder. This is a finishing powder. So in an ideal world, you set down with a different powder and then at the end, blur over the top with the product. And that's what gives you that diffused look. But as far as the longevity of it, it is a finishing, not a setting powder. If you are someone that does have issues with it. So normally a finishing powder, I will take a big brush at the end just before I set my makeup and go in and just lightly blur over the top. But you can see it is brightening for sure. This side is definitely looking a bit brighter. Going in now with the bronzer. This is, as I said, I did use this morning for work. And I could just chat to you and just do a look very, very quickly if I wasn't showing you in detail what to do with this. So you can see this is quite a, Charlotte's bronzers can pull very warm. Hers tend to lean into that warm family. And if you are not a lover of that, you will sometimes struggle with her blushes because you can look quite orange with them. However, this shade, as you can see, I've got in quite heavy-handed there. But let's just blow this out a bit. It's quite soft. Like I said, I went in heavy-handed, and even then being heavy-handed, it is really still quite soft. It's not too warm. I'm going in with a nose brush now, just to straighten up the wonky nose. But yeah, so that's, you can see, if you are pale like me, this works really well for you. Let's have a look at the blush. This is a really pretty blush here. Really nice rosy tone, and it leans more cool toned. Again, quite often her palettes will have run to a warm tone, so this is really nice. We didn't have anything like this the last few years. I'm really, really excited to have this back. And for those that were wondering between this and getting, you know, if you're tossing up between budget of getting an Hourglass palette or getting this, I go this. I did go this, and I'm not getting the Hourglass. I have no plans at the moment. Grabbing a highlighter brush now because I am going to use this as a highlighter. And just show you, you can go all over and use it as a blush liner, and I'm just going onto the blush there. You can build that up, and you can see that's just a really nice glow. It's above. This isn't going to give you a deep, intense look. You can see from this shade here. You're just not going to get it because the depth is not there. But not everyone needs to have a super deep, intense look. Normally, it's just me because I want to push my hood back, being having hooded lids. But going in with this and take the excess off, looking straight ahead. Again, just remember, this is your hood. It is not your crease. Your crease is where, poke at it, feel your orbital bone. That's where you want to create a transition, a bit of depth happening. Everything else goes underneath that, ignoring where that crease is. Some people have a really low crease and a really high orbital bone. Others have really high sunken. You just really need to work with your bone structure, not your skin. So as you can see, that's just blended beautifully. This is a beautiful all day, everyday wear. I will try and add some depth after to that. Now for this enhanced shade, you can follow, I've gone a bit off. Normally it's just like you do the enhance all over the lid, add a little bit of smoke. It's like what Charlotte likes to do. She explains it on the back if you are unsure. I know what placement works best for me. Haven't even looked, haven't got my glasses on. How am I going to read it anyway? But more of a flatter brush with this because it's going all over my lid. And in fact, let's get the finger in there because we know on my mobile lid, I like to pack it on with my finger. If you're going away on holidays, if you're going away for a weekend and want to condense what you're taking with you, this is where this works really, really well. We are going to add a little bit of pop, our sparkle, with this shimmer shade. This is what it looks like here. So you can go right across the lid or you can just add it to the center to catch the light, which is what we'll do here, because I think I'm going to add the highlight to the inner corner. See how that sparkles there now? Now, if you feel like you need a bit more depth to the outer corner, you can go back in with that brown and just have that there. But because it's not hugely deep in shade, I am going into the bronzer and just adding a little bit there. Not much, just a tiniest little bit. And then just go over that with this to smoke because it is slightly cooler toned. I have just used my Super Nudes, the Awakening underneath the eye, and going in with, clean that brush off that we used for initially for the center shade. Just going in now and just smoking out under the eye. What I do love about Charlotte, what I don't love about Charlotte is the over-enunciation and the claims of 5,000% more hydrated. What I do love about Charlotte, to give her her due, is that she knows what blends well. These types of products, her eyeshadows, Pillow Talk is legendary and iconic for a reason, and that is because it's really hard to mess up a look with it. It just works. Like, I'm not the biggest lover of not having more depth on the outer eye because of my sag, but let's just pretend I've had a lift there. Oh, makes me want to get that left sooner. But can you see, it's just a simple, soft, gentle, elegant look. And given what's happened the last few years in eyeshadows, where a lot of people tend to less is more, the people that love Glaminatrix and super colourful indie palettes, and some of the ones that I do, they're not your customer for this. But if you are like me and you do live, I'm just going into that highlighter, blush. If you are like me and you have a very conservative day job, or you know, you might be a woman of a certain age, or you just love a good neutral, which is what I've been leaning into, this could work for you. And just grabbing a little bit more now and just bringing that up and under the brow bone. So that's where we're at with that one. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to put mascara on yet. We're going to move on to the other side before I do mascara and lips. So going into the Dreamy Bronze now. Is it Dreamy Bronze? Yeah, Dreamy Bronzed Beauty. On this one, I have not touched. So this will be interesting. I'm just going to move across. That's better. So just tapping under the eye again, just to get out the creases. Let's see how this goes. Bearing in mind that this is quite brightening, and this is peach, so it's got more of a peach undertone. So it is for darker skin, for starters. So it's brightening for darker skin. It might lean more into sort of a color correcting for me. I do have a warmer undertone, so it could cancel out any darkness under my eyes. In all reality, it's the news. Oh, that same places that we did. It's definitely darker. I can see the difference straight away. Let's go over. I will add hydration back to my face after, which will melt a lot of product in as well. You can see that this looks brighter underneath the eye. However, I don't know how much of the sunkenness. I feel like underneath this eye, it's really hard with my face in that, because I have distortion around this area and I'm collapsed here and I've got bone spurs here. This area here can look a bit different at times, but I think it looks more even, and the brightener hasn't necessarily been my friend under the eye on this side, whereas having that warmer, that neutralizer there, could possibly have done better than the other side. Now, this bronzer, I think I'll have to go in super light, because it is not just meant to be for my skin. I could be completely wrong and it worked perfectly, but I would imagine, based on how well this one goes, that this is going to be a lot warmer. And I run, yeah, see, it's gripping straight away. And so I run the risk of looking too warm. But I've gone in light. Going to grab, this is fluffier. That's just staining on there. I have cleaned off the brush, but okay, so you can see that there's a bit of pigment on there. But what this will allow me to do is buff. You see where it's grabbed there straight away. Let's go under just to see if it's workable. I mean, it could be ridiculous, but I would imagine, look, this is blending. Just add it a bit more. Like I said, go in lightly, because you can always rebuild up. And the good thing is that this will tap away if you want it to. So I can use that. Which is good to know. Just fluffy. This is a denser brush that I used on the lighter side. This is a fluffier brush. So go in with the fluffy brush and you should be good. If the overall colour story is more at the end, your jam on this side. This will be the test, going in with a bit of nose. So you can see it's gripping right there. But again, clean off the brush. I always get people asking me where I got these. If you search eyeshadow brush cleaner tin, you can, so many different sites sell them, Amazon, Temu, eBay, all of those ones. But essentially, have a look at this just while we're here. Let's have a little education session. Essentially, this is fish filter. Is what it looks like. So just go and get some from your local Kmart or your pet store. Chuck it in a box, because it does build up underneath. It falls through when you clean it off. Or just use a microfiber cloth. I went in really light there. That's I'm okay with that. Don't know if you can hear, my throat's a bit dry today. Still, all these weeks later, still just a little dregs of this flu. Using the same brush, though, this is more of a dense brush. This is going to come on pretty heavy, I would imagine, but I'm tapping in pretty gently, so we should be good. But there is some pigment there. Now, I'm being very gentle, but you can see that's grabbing pretty quickly. So if I went in, tapped in hard and pressed hard, we would get a lot of pigment. I would imagine, I don't think if you are on the darker scale of the melanin scale, on the darker side of the melanin scale, that you will be able to use this. It's just not going to be deep enough. If you are a Mediterranean olive toned lovely lady, then this should work for you, but it's not dark enough to cover other people. So it would have been nice had there been a third one in this, and I just don't get why more brands don't. I'm using my highlighter brush. This is not going to be a highlighter for me. Oh, it could be if I go in super light. Let's just start. It's not going to be a highlighter, but it is going to add glow. If you are worried, you see, it's just not a highlighter for me, but it does work as adding glow to it. If you are worried, this is how you can tell it doesn't work as a highlighter. See that cast? When you get that shadow there, you look at yourself and you get a shadow. That means it is not a highlighter. That should come down a little bit more, because looking in the mirror here, it looks fine, but the minute you start to look, you get that little bruising sort of effect, I guess, for want of a better word. I'm going in with a finer pointed brush for this, just to see. I really like this colour. It reminds me of, I've gone completely blank on the palette. If you are a Charlotte fan, but look at that colour. That is bloody gorgeous. And let's just start to blend this, because can you see the gradient that I'm getting here? Oh, I've just tickled my eyelashes. So we'll just start to blend this out, because we can go back and build up after. That's not going to be a problem. So we're blending this to essentially create our transition. Teacup hold down the end of your brush. It allows you to have more control. It's something I say in every video, more control, blend out, and you can see that's buffed out to a really lovely transition shade now. Bring that forward, just adding the slightest little amount, because I'm going to go back in a second and really build that up. But nice, nice, nice. Now let's go in and pack this on the outer corner. I've got a flat packing brush. This brush is really great, by the way. It's just a Chi Chi one. You can get them online on their website, Chi Chi Cosmetics, Maya. I don't think Target do them anymore. It's just a great, I know they've got a set at the moment that's been on sale. Some of my favourite brushes. This is one, and my all-time favourite blush brush, which I think is in the wash, is from there. But can you see the difference in that depth now that we're packing it? So this is your smoke colour. So we've got that placement there. It's a gorgeous colour. Now going back in with this fluffier brush, just using the point of it just to really blend that out. And it doesn't need to do much. It's just doing it itself. Just remember to look straight ahead, because if you can't see your work, nobody else can. But I just need a little bit of depth there, as you can see. Going into this, oh, these look beautiful, by the way. And I've used the wrong finger, so I need to go from this angle. So going in, that's gorgeous. Going to tap that across. That's got a lot more sparkle than this one did have, but this is not the topper as such. This is giving you a bit more of a glam look for sure. But obviously if you've got darker colouring, then you might end up with something that looks more like a day look. But if you are pasty like me, then now I'm just going to use my little finger. I'm not sure about this shade. Just cleaned off this brush. I'm going in and just to really work that in. Look, do I think that it needed both of these? Absolutely not. I think that is gorgeous. I think that that could have been another matte. To be quite honest, could have been something light along the lines of this. However, you might be happy just to do a swipe. I mean, it does look nice, doesn't it? So I've just done Pillow Talk liner in my waterline. Now for underneath the eye, going in with that shade, this is the Smoke It Out shade. And again, like these, just, it doesn't overcomplicate things, really. Oh, I like that. Oh, I'm going into this peachy, just here. Let's just see about, see that's brightening up the inner corner in itself. This burgundy is just beautiful, I do have to say. So that is where we are at. What I'm going to do is set down my face, put some mascara on and some lips, which I will tell you, I went in today because I wanted to get Icon Baby. And then I went, there's another shade that I want too. And was umming and ahhing, what do I do? When I saw this, which, if I can open it, was the same price as one full-size lipstick and is 3 of the smaller ones. And it has the shades Icon Baby, 90s Pink and Rose to Fame. It is the Kissing formula, which is such a great formula as far as lipsticks are concerned. So I'm going to set down my face, put some lips on, put some mascara on, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the final look. I'm not sure what shades I just used on my lip, but it is from that lip kit. There is no way, even with my glasses on, that I can read what is on the bottom of there. I have used Icon Baby over the top, but it's either the Rose or the 90s Baby. Putting the lip kit down below for you. What do we think for just, and you're not going to get a huge amount of variety. Certainly in this one, you're really going to be limited to what you get. But if you are after a really nice, easy day look that you do not want to think about, then you're going to like this. I prefer this side. I wore this to work today, but for my colouring, for what I like what's going on in the eye here. What do you think? What I will tell you is, if I was making this myself, out of this, one, I would make at least another one palette, if not two, to go deeper again. Because if me, who wears like the second lightest shade in any product, I'm generally N2, P2, so I'm a 2 on the scale of however many shades there are. And if I can wear their light and their dark, what does that tell you? What I do like is, if I was having this for myself, I would have that, the lighter bronzer for me. I would have this as my highlighter. I actually really like that. And somewhere in between could work really well. I really like this shade. This is such a beautiful shade. Now, for my eyes, and I would have this powder, which is the slightly peachy one, but that's because I am certainly on more of a warmer tone. I'm not one that for super brightening underneath my eyes in any case nowadays. I think that it can be aging. I don't think that at my age I need to be doing that. On the eyes, give me that burgundy, give me that shimmer, and that inner corner, I think maybe. Even that could work. I do like these two shades. I think this is a bit redundant. I would like to have seen a bit more depth with that. That's the only thing I would say. It is cool toned though, so if you are pale and cool toned, I think you could like it, but it doesn't quite go deep enough for my liking. So put that in there, put that in there, and maybe leave that. I want a combination of the two. I'm not about to try and pop them out because they're not designed to, and I would cry if I wrecked it. So it just means that sometimes I might need to take both pretty palettes with me. Do you need both? No, you don't. It just depends on what you like. This eye is everything for me. I really love it. My mascara is not dry and I've just put my hand up against it, so it's now going to go super clumpy. What one did you like out of these? Did you have a preference? Are you picking it up? If so, which one? Has me putting this on made you change your mind at all as to, one, whether you're going to get it all, or two, if you were looking at one, are you thinking of the other now? Fire Rose, this reminds me of this burgundy. Yeah, I like this cheek. Really like this cheek. Really like this eye. Might have to play around with that tomorrow. Keep an eye. Tomorrow will be today for you, so keep an eye on Instagram. See if that is what I have done. Until next time, my loves. Oh, I didn't even tell you. Price, I want to say, is $114, so it is not a savvy, but it does. Do I like these types of palettes? Charlotte just does them better. Just does them better than most. So, signing off. Until next time, don't forget to tell your mum, tell your sister, tell your friends. Come along, hang out, subscribe, all that jazz. This has been chaotically fun tonight. Now, I've got to go and edit. Well, upload, edit. Create the back end, right on what's on my face, upload it, get it all sorted for you. Hopefully you're seeing this tomorrow, which is today. Take care, bye.